as thousands continue to flee war-torn Ukraine, some refugees say they've suffered racism at the Ukrainian border. It's something that's being investigated by a Leeds-based charity, as Gemma Dillon found out.
We are not allowing any black people to enter inside this. We are all here.
It's pictures like these that prompted a Leeds charity to put out an appeal for anyone who'd suffered racism whilst fleeing Ukraine to get in touch. Barry Babukar from the Happy Tears Foundation was shocked.
It's a sad reality, but things are happening over there.
68 people have been in touch so far. One of them is Solomon, who spoke to us from safety in Germany. Could you ask Solomon what happened when the war broke out and he had to flee his home?
Maintenant, la guerre a commencé, t'étais ton ami, vous deviez quitter, qu'est-ce qui s'est passé?
I'm present in Kharkov.
Before he even made it to the border, when they arrived at Kharkiv's city center, where they had to take like the underground, even though he had like his student traveling pass, they wasn't allowing them to get into the trains or something. They saying like the Ukrainian force.
He then had to walk 70 miles with a group of friends until they reached the Polish border, where he says the situation was even worse.
There's two lines for cross the border. That's one line is mainly white people that is allowed to pass on that line, and the other line is black and minority. And sometimes you see like every 5 hours or 6 hours they let one black person pass, while on the other line people are just flowing past.
The experience isn't an isolated one though. Many Africans have reported episodes of abuse and discrimination whilst trying to cross into Ukraine's neighbours. The Ukrainian ambassador was asked about it by the Home Affairs Select Committee.
Ukraine is a very homogenic society. We don't have many people of different races on the streets for many different reasons we're not going to discuss, and foreigners are sticking out of the crowd. So the police have to do much better job explaining people why these young males of Ukrainians are splitting from their families and staying behind, and somebody else is leaving. That's where people-to-people conflicts can come.
The Happy Tears Foundation are crowdfunding to help black people escape Ukraine, but Barry just wants to see everyone who's fleeing war treated the same.
That was Gemma Dillon reporting there. We're joined now by writer, producer and director Sol B. River from Leeds. Sol, I mean, the argument the Ukrainians seem to be making is that they're putting what they describe as their people first, their women and children fleeing those war-torn towns and cities, being given priority at the border. That's basically their response to this.
Well, you'd ask, whether all lives matter, whether Ukrainian lives matter, whether the black lives matter, and in fact there are people there from struggling from Morocco, from Syria, from Nigeria, India. There are even the nationals, even the Ukrainian nationals, not just the foreign students, are struggling to be able to get any kind of equal treatment in the panic that is happening out there at the moment.
What more should Western governments be doing then, in your point of view?
Well, we've heard from the Ukrainian foreign minister and other government officials, and I don't think there's enough joint-up thinking. There's a massive effort going on behalf of people of whatever colour. I mean, they've been raising money at the Polish Centre in Leeds, and lots of people have contributed to that. Black-led churches have contributed to funds that have been sent out to the Ukraine to help the Ukrainian people. This is a joint effort regarding the Ukrainian government. As it comes out of this turmoil, they're going to want to resume relationships with the countries that they were. So we need some better diplomacy in this regard.
Well, it seems to me, Tim, that all racism is appalling, should not be tolerated, and that ultimately we are one human family, and suffering for somebody with a white skin is the same as suffering with somebody who has a black skin or looks different. There should be no discrimination. If people need to escape, they need to escape. And if they need sanctuary, we should offer them all sanctuary.
Sol B. River, thanks for joining us today on Politics North.